Welcome back, guys, to another episode of my Shrewsbury Town career on FIFA 15. Now, in the last episode, you saw that Rangel had picked up an injury in that game against York City, and at the time I was hoping he wasn't going to be out for very long. I was hoping he'd be out for at least a week, which I could deal with. But 4 weeks, it's kind of a long time. We've got to go through some tough games, especially against Leyton Orient, which is coming up next, and another one against Wycombe Wanderers. Rangel, and you guys are probably wondering, well, what's the big fuss with Rangel? I haven't really seen much from him over the last couple of episodes, but you know, he brings pace to the squad and he brings optimism, especially when Jack Grealish is playing over on the left as well. Those two work wonders down the flanks, and when they've both been fully fit, even though we're 11, 12 games into the season now, there just doesn't seem to be any way of stopping them for the opposition, and I kind of feel sorry for them when they have to come up against Grealish and Rangel when they are fully fit, because as I've demonstrated over the last couple of episodes, I mean, Rangel and Grealish, they've got themselves on the score sheet in a couple of games. And seeing that they're at such a young age, they're showing so much potential, yet they already seem like the complete player that you would want in your team. So that's something positive to work towards. We just have to try and muddle through these next couple of weeks without the likes of Rangel. I can't wait until he returns to see what else he can produce for the team. It does mean, though, having to leave out the likes of Jordan Clark, who actually started this game against Leyton Orient. But again, you know, for someone like Clark, it was an opportunity for him to try and prove himself. If we can get players working off each other, trying to compete for a first team spot, then you know you're onto something good. And I suppose at the end of the day, it all comes down to how well I can actually play with the player on FIFA 15. If they seem bulky, I'm not going to be using them. If they're slow on the ball, nah, they haven't got a spot in the first team. But Clark isn't someone like that, you know. He seems as though he's a player that can definitely put up a challenge for that first team spot down the right side. And to me, that shows brilliant squad depth. It shows the quality that we've already got in the team, and how brilliant it's going to get for us as we hopefully get promoted to League One, to the Championship, and fingers crossed the Premier League somewhere down the line. And I think it'll be interesting as well to see, if we were to ever get to the Premier League, how far the team will go. Will I still be holding on to the likes of Akbrak Pro and Clark? It's going to be very interesting. I'm kind of excited to see if we can get to that stage in this career mode. It's going to be great, and I hope you guys will stick with me as well throughout the whole journey with Shrewsbury Town. Now, this game against Leyton Orient, as you saw, Halstead was starting in goal again because Luke Whaler was still out injured. He just wasn't fully fit for this game. He was only out for 7 days, but because, you know, getting back to full fitness, it's not the best. So you have to wait like another week after until they're ready to start again. So Halstead started. He let in that goal, unfortunately. He just stood there when he could have dived for the ball. Even though he made a brilliant save from that half volley first time around, he just couldn't dive for the ball again. And we do bail out of the Johnson's Paint Trophy, so we will not be going any further in that competition, unfortunately. It's so disappointing, because I said at the start of the season, I want to try and win that trophy, but I'm sure we'll get another chance next season if we're promoted into League One. If we stay in League Two, we'll get another chance to compete in it. But I had to focus on my next game, and most importantly, it is a league game. So 3 points were on the line, not a spot in the next round. And it was against Hartlepool. We were away from home. It was absolutely chucking it down of rain. And I've noticed that whenever it's raining on FIFA 15, it's kind of a good omen for me. I always seem to come away with a good result. And take a look at this. Yes, James Wilson, loanee from Manchester United, did get his first goal for Shrewsbury Town. He will be over the moon with that goal, and hopefully that will open the floodgates for Wilson as we progress through the season with Shrewsbury Town. And just when it looked like Hartlepool were maybe going to win the ball back, he was surrounded by 3-4 players there, but somehow he managed to pull through and fire the ball home, making it 1-0 to Shrewsbury Town. So a good lead to have, just under 10 minutes gone of the game. Dele Alli got dispossessed here, with Miller winning the ball back, giving it to Compton. Miller made space for himself, but there were too many bodies in the ways. It just gets deflected out for a corner kick. In the second half, Knight gets dispossessed. Miller wins the ball back for Hartlepool as they kept coming, looking for that equaliser. Brownhill gave it to Compton as he went to whip the ball in. It took a deflection off Grandison there and it hit the side net, and it could have gone either way. It could have gone into the back of the net, but thankfully it didn't. And I forgot to mention that Luke Whaler was back for this game. He was fully fit, so I picked him in between the sticks, and I made such a terrible mistake, and I hate it when it does this now on FIFA 15. The AI, it's actually running back and forth between your players, so it makes it difficult for you to actually pass the ball, and with the mistake came a goal. So Hartlepool then start to mount a comeback, maybe looking for the win, and tensions were starting to rise. It was getting a bit heated, this game, and I went in with a silly challenge with Josh Vela, and he got himself sent off. Yes, Shrewsbury Town went down to 10 men with just 5 minutes to go of the game. Could we hold out for a solid point against Hartlepool, or would Hartlepool manage to pull a win out of the bag? And with Shrewsbury Town players looking a bit deflated after the loss of Josh Vela, it looked likely, and they did indeed find the back of the net for a second time right before the ref blew his final whistle. Marlon Harewood, do you guys remember him? Former West Ham striker. Well, he was the one that assisted Franks as he lifted the ball through the centre of my two defenders there, my two centre-halves, and he just tapped that home, making it 2-1. We couldn't mount a comeback of our own, and so we went on to drop all 3 points away against Hartlepool. Bit disappointing, and things need to change. We need to sort this out, because as you can see, 12 games in, we're in 8th. Yes, it's still close, but now is not the time to be losing games. And we had another tough game coming up. It was against Wycombe Wanderers. Yes, they're below us in the league, but I mean, they're always up for a good challenge, aren't they, Wycombe? And losing here against Wycombe would mean that we would drop further down the league table, so I had to go all out. Thankfully, I had my top players fully fit. Obviously, Rangel was still out injured with that sprained knee. James Wilson and Akpro started up front alongside each other, and I started Ryan Woods as well at right back position. He can play there as well as central mid and also as a centre half. But Ryan Woods been impressing me lately, so I thought, well, I'll give him another chance here in this game against Wycombe. Let's see what he can come up with. And Weslowski here for Shrewsbury Town with a good chance. Keeper saved it by knocking it away with his boot, falling to ground, and it would be James Wilson, who seriously has got a taste for goals at the moment, that made it 1-0 to the Town, just over 10 minutes gone of the game. Now, 10 minutes later, Wycombe Wanderers look to get the equaliser and get straight back in this game, but Ryan Woods comes in, mops up, and charges forward with the ball at his feet, and was later to be dispossessed. They stole it away. And a bit later on, Hayes came very close to making it 1-1. How it didn't go into the back of the net, I don't know. But Luke Whaler was on fine form in this game, with a few decent saves here and there. I mean, look at that. A deadly cross there, which could have ended up in the back of the net. Luke Whaler recognises that. He comes out and just palms it away. Bit of a risk to take, seeing that he's way off his line. But he knew that I had quite a few players in the area to actually get rid of the danger. And James Wilson, he is looking more and more threatening with each passing game. And that's what I want in a striker. But fortunately for Shrewsbury, it would be Bloomfield that would get the equaliser. Look at him just skipping towards the corner flag and then sliding on his stomach. Meant so much to him and his team to get that equaliser. But I had to win this game. I couldn't draw another game. It just can't be done. And look at the pace from James Wilson as he picks up the loose ball. And it was there on the plate for him to make it 2-1. It just wasn't to be. But a bit later on, Jack Grealish, I did go for a finesse shot there. It was a finesse shot. It wasn't a pass. It wasn't a cross. It wasn't any of that. And it would be James Wilson on the end of it. Just flicked it up into the air and just lightly tapped it like a feather into the back of the net, putting Shrewsbury in the lead for the second time against Wycombe. The keeper unable to swat it away. You can see his big paw coming out to just prevent it from going across the line, but it wasn't good enough. And James Wilson seriously really excelled in this game against Wycombe, and I'm sure would be impressing his manager back at Manchester United, Louis van Gaal. There was just 5 minutes to go of this game, and all I had to do was hold on to this lead against Wycombe, and I really thought they were going to get a late equaliser. You know, going by our recent results, it was going to happen, but there was a glimmer of hope, and it would be game, set and match thanks to that goal by James Collins. That would mean the world to him, as he hasn't scored many this season. We went on anyway to beat Wycombe 3-1. It was kind of a tight game actually, even though the scoreline says differently, but a win's a win, that's the main thing, and we scored a couple of goals in this one. With that, guys, I'm going to end it there. I hope that you've all enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you all very soon for the next one. Thanks for watching.